Hello everyone, back to today's first video. We're going to have a look at the ECMDF 30-day ensemble model for today's first video. It's going to cover the next 30 days, so the next 4 weeks, and it takes us to the beginning of May. We're at the Hungarian Met Office for this, so a big thanks to the Hungarian Met for supplying these charts. We can only see temperature and precipitation anomalies. We can't see mean sea level pressure or 500 millibar heights, but you can get a broad idea of what model is showing from its temperature and precipitation forecast. So that's what we're going to do for today's first video. Coming up later on today, we'll have your regular week to 10-day video update as always. We're going to start off with the week 1 temperature anomaly for Europe. This is week 15 for the year, of course, but week 1 for our forecast period. It's taking us from the 8th of April through to the 14th of April. So basically it's a coming week. So we've got these deep blue colours here across the northern parts of Europe. A colder than average week on the way for much of Scandinavia and much of northern Europe as well. These cold average temperature anomalies are extending down through central western parts of Europe as well. So Poland, Germany, France, down to Spain, Portugal, up to the Low Countries. All of those areas are coming out colder than average by around 1 to 3 degrees below average. It looks quite cold for the UK and Ireland as well. So actually Ireland perched out on the very edges of Europe, a little bit milder than average of the far west of the Republic there. But really most parts of the UK are coming out colder than average. Again, temperature anomalies around 1 to 3 degrees below average. So a pretty cold week actually in the week ahead. And much of the Mediterranean looking quite cold as well. So down in the western basin of the Med, across Spain, Portugal, and into the Balearic Islands, those areas are below average. And then going further eastwards towards Corsica, Sardinia, Malta, Italy, again we see colder than average temperature anomalies here. And these cold average temperatures extend over the Adriatic into the western part of the Balkans as well. As you go further east of that, it does actually go a bit milder. And the warmest places in Europe this week are in this southeastern corner, so around Greece, Turkey, up toward the Black Sea, and then up towards the southern part of Russia. Those areas are forecast to be around 1 to 3 degrees milder than average. So the warmth in the extreme southeast of Europe this week, but those places actually looking quite cold. And the precipitation anomaly looks like this. So in the northwest, where it's coldest, it's also driest, really. So we can see it. We probably have got a large blocking area of high pressure in the week ahead sitting over Scandinavia. That's pulling down those cold northeasterly winds across much of northern central western Europe. We do see largely dry than average conditions for many northern and western parts of Europe. The wettest conditions are in this southeastern corner. So the central base of the Med looks quite unsettled, especially around Corsica and Sardinia, but also Italy looking quite wet. But the real wet weather is actually down in this southeastern corner. Very wet, going down in towards Greece, for example. Really wet conditions down there. So it's the north and west of Europe has got the driest weather on offer, but also the coldest weather in the week ahead. The southeast is warmer, but it's also quite a lot wetter down there. Moving through to week 2, week 16 for the year, for 2019, but week 2 for our forecast period, it's the 15th to the 21st of April. And quite a big change takes place then. So now the colder than average temperature anomalies have been pushed into the east and the southeast of Europe. And the north and west is going milder. There's obviously some sort of significant pattern changes taking place here from week 1 through to week 2. We see the cold average temperature anomalies that are in the north and west of Europe and the central parts of Europe in the week ahead, then move down towards the east. So we now find that around the Black Sea and down to Greece and Turkey and then up towards southern parts of Russia, those areas are coming out rather colder than average by as much as around 3 to 6 degrees below average in 1 or 2 places. The Ukraine also looking quite cold as well. But go further west of that, so kind of like Poland through to Germany, you see temperature anomalies around average. These average temperature anomalies then extend down through into France, Spain and Portugal. Mediterranean still looking quite chilly, but not as cold as it is in the week ahead. And the far northwest, actually, Scandinavia, UK, Ireland, just hinting at being just a little bit milder than average in this week, 15th, 21st of April. And it looks very mild, by the way, up across Iceland as well. Precipitation-wise, it's a dry week, really, for many parts of Europe. The Mediterranean looking a little bit unsettled, so still some showery conditions going on there through the Med. But north of the Alps, really, most parts of Europe are looking drier than average. So obviously high pressure is still in control here, but instead of sitting over Scandinavia, as it does in week 1, what we find is that the high pressure actually now is probably sitting across central parts of Europe. That pulls those cold north-northeast winds down into the east and the southeast, but allows milder or even warmer southerly to southwesterly winds to affect many northern and central parts of Europe, perhaps. So that explains the change in the temperature anomaly. Then we go through to week 3, which is going to be the 22nd to the 28th of April, week 17th of the year, week 3 for our forecast period. More changes, so this is a very much a changeable sort of 4 weeks, with each week having very different temperature anomalies. Now we've got milder than average conditions in this southeastern corner again, so temperatures are rising in the southeastern corner of Europe, from the Balkans over towards the Black Sea and then down towards Greece and Turkey. Above average temperatures there. Further north and west, it looks a bit colder again across Scandinavia. Otherwise, most parts of Europe are actually coming out with average temperature anomalies. The UK and Ireland, average temperature anomalies being forecast here in week 3, which is a lowering of the temperature anomaly really compared to week 2. So really up and down with temperatures for the UK and for Ireland, for many northern parts of Europe in the week ahead. Slight changes for precipitation as well here for week 3, 22nd, 28th of April. So now we see that it's drier than average, or hinting to be drier than average. It's a fairly weak signal, but hinting to be drier than average in the southeastern corner, again from Black Sea down towards Greece and Turkey. Further northwest, it's also a little bit wetter, so for parts of the UK, Scandinavia, down towards perhaps northern Germany, we just hint at the possibility of something a little bit wetter than average coming along at this point. However, most places, most parts of Europe have got average precipitation, and that's probably happening because the signal for temperatures is and signal precipitation are both becoming weaker as we go through to week 3. Normally with these long-range models, the signals do weaken the further out that we go. And then finally we get through to week 4, which is the 29th of April through to the 5th of May. And more changes. This is a really changeable 4 weeks ahead. Each week has very different looking temperature and precipitation anomalies. So now in week 4, the 29th of April to the 5th of May, we find that most eastern parts of Europe anyway, and extending into some central parts, certainly extending as far west as Poland, we find that many of those areas are warmer than average and milder than average week coming up here, really from Poland right way through to Russia, and down to the Black Sea. Out in the west, nearer normal temperature anomalies, although maybe hinting at being quite mild for most parts of Europe. So, for example, parts of France a little bit warmer than average, parts of Spain a little bit warmer than average, into the North Sea and close to Denmark we're a little bit milder than average as well. So this looks like it could be quite a warm start to May. If this is right, looks like we get rid of those colder than average temperature anomalies by the time we get through to the beginning of May. But certainly the west of Europe is that little bit cooler, closer to average compared to the warm signal that we've got over in the east. Precipitation wise, finally, we see, again, quite weak signals, as you usually get with precipitation in weeks 3 and 4 with any long-range forecast model. So for Scandinavia, perhaps hinting at being a little bit wetter than average up there. Maybe hinting at being a bit wetter than average to western Spain and Portugal as well. Certainly around Portugal it looks quite wet. So maybe influences from a jet stream here, with a jet doing something like that. Perhaps a little bit drier than average, or hints at being a bit drier than average still in that southeastern corner of Europe. But again, it's a very, very weak signal for week 4, and it is hard to decipher much of any use, really, for precipitation in week 4. I think the main takeaway from this week's update of the ECMWF 30-day model is that we are in for a very sort of changeable 4 weeks ahead. Each week looks very different in terms of the temperature anomaly, starting off particularly cold across northern, western, central parts of Europe. That doesn't last very long. By week 2, those cold temperatures are pushed down into the southeast of Europe as it turns warmer in the north and west, and then it's back to milder or warmer average conditions again from the southeastern part of Europe in week 3 as the north and west turns cooler, although not particularly cold in weeks 3 and 4. Far as precipitation is concerned, again, quite variable, quite changeable from week to week. So clearly we've got a lot of sort of intra-week variation going on here. But overall, after a cold start, it also temperatures will stage a recovery for the second half of April. And by the beginning of May, it could actually be quite warm. Right, so that's it for your ECMWF 30-day look ahead for this week. We'll do it all over again next week. Come back later on this afternoon on the homepage when we'll have the regular week to 10-day video update. And tonight, by the way, we've got our second Easter update. So Easter updates have started at Gazweather's, and we'll have the second one of those for you tonight. Right, that's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.